Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We are creating the life we've always wanted. And welcome, whatever platform you are joining me from, and whatever country, city, state you're joining me from, welcome to the space. As I said, I'm here because I want you to have the success in your health just like you're having in other areas of your life. I want you to show up intentionally and consistently for those important events and important people in your life so that you can enjoy. We've taken a lot of time. We've poured a lot into our lives. We've poured a lot into our careers and our families and all those dreams, and it's time to enjoy those. Now, if you are with us and you are ending your fast today, kudos to you. I want you to go ahead right now and drop into the chat. I want you to drop today. Okay, if you're ending your fast today, we're 48 hours into this week's fast. There's some folks who ended their fast yesterday. They fasted for 24 hours. Some who started yesterday and are ending today. And then, of course, those who are starting today and going into the next 24 hours as we head for 72 hours. So if you're fasting with us, if you're ending the fast today, I want you to go ahead and drop today. If you fasted at all, right? You fasted Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You ended your fast yesterday. You're going to start the fast tomorrow. Whatever. If it's not today, if you're not ending today, I want you to put me so that we know that you are fasting. But those who are ending their fast specifically today, I want you to go ahead and drop today into the comments, into the chat, so we can give you a shout out and say, hey, we're so excited that you have taken charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications. Go to the next level. Now I'm going to show you my glucose monitors here in just a minute. Something weird that happened to me over the last 24 hours, that my blood sugars shot up, and I am not sure what's going on with them, but we're going to take a look at that here in just a minute to see what we have. But if you've not done so yet, make sure that you get out there and you are paying attention to our Foundations episodes that are coming out, like the one for this week came out yesterday. And then the one for next week is coming out next Wednesday. So the plan is that they're coming out on Wednesday, between Wednesday and Friday, but we're shooting for Wednesday. That's going to be a plan. As we get started, you'll see that those have been either Wednesday, Thursday, but this week came out on Wednesday. It's an amazing episode that is one of the foundational concepts that we want to make sure that people are understanding as they're talking about their disease. Now, as you're watching these, if you're not diabetic, you're saying, wait, I'm not diabetic, and he's talking about blood sugar. But understand that diabetes is the prototypic, it's the ultimate in metabolic diseases. And so the things that we talk about for diabetes also will work for other metabolic diseases like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver, obesity, pre-diabetes, right? All those things leading up to diabetes can also improve as we're doing the things that we need to do. So make sure you're watching those Foundations episodes. And then on Monday, this past Monday, we talked about a very important idea, and that is depression and diabetes. We probably should have renamed it depression in metabolic disease or depression in chronic disease, because people who suffer from chronic illnesses, metabolic diseases, also have the same things. Okay, so that's an amazing process that we're on. For our accelerator members who are out there, welcome to our show today. Thank you for coming through and hanging out with us. Now, I want to do two special shout outs to two groups of people, and that one is the Atlanta Berean Church in Atlanta, Georgia, who are right now going through our Foundations episodes, the health series. And let me do one thing here really quickly. Everybody. So who are right now going through those Foundations episode in the health series, and we want to give you a quick shout out and thank you for hanging out with us as we are working on being healthy. And then the other is the Magazine Street Church in Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you guys for coming through and for hanging out with us and taking charge of your health and your life, right? So one of the things that we want to talk about, it's not just health, it is also the things that we're doing are helping with life in general. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and I'm going to hop over and I want to do one thing here really quickly before we get there. Let me move this I got some things here that I got to get rid of you'll hear a sound of me emptying the trash. Hold on a second. There we go. All right. So yeah, let's take a look at my blood sugars because I want to walk through this, alert you a little bit. So here you'll see this is my Freestyle Libre. This is a Freestyle Libre Plus, and you'll see right about here, that's my blood sugar right now. Okay, right in there. And actually, let me do one thing. We don't want to play through. There we go. So blood sugar right now, that's what it is. But I want to show this, right? So overnight, right? So this is what, 1 a.m. I'm in bed, and so my blood sugar started rising. So I've been suffering from a cold. You know, we had some vaccinations that we had to do for a trip that we're taking, and look at that, right? And so that's 7:15 this morning. I woke up, brushed my teeth right about here, right? And you guys know we normally get that spike. So 7:15 this morning, and 7:15, 7:45. So by 8:15, we're at, what's that? 177. 9:15, we're at 144. 10:15, we're at 119. 11:15, 101. 12:15, down to 94. And so all of this, right? So I did nothing to treat this, right? So I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense to me. It's dropping. So this has been an oddity that I can't explain, right? And coming all the way back down to there without treatment. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna hop over. Well, let me go through the like we normally do. And here is my report, 90 days, 96% in target, right? So you see that right there, this number. And 3% lows, 1% above target. And the lows tend to happen when I'm fasting, right? So lows tend to happen when I'm fasting. And here is my 90 days average of 100. You'll see that number right in here. And then what's going on with my blood sugar through the course of the days, right? So those are my average blood sugar over the course of the day. And I love that because it tells me what's happening at different times of the day. Now let's take a look at the Dexcom. And as you know, the Dexcom and the Libre tend to be off from each other. Let's start with where we were. Let's do the 12 hours. And you'll see kind of the same idea. So starting about 115, 118. And at this point, I'm in bed, right? Because I decided I needed to get some rest over the course of today. And it lost connection there for just a little while, for about a couple of hours. And then is riding in the 160s, 170s. Right here, woke up, brushed my teeth, and look at that, 239, which is about what we would expect from the Dexcom if the Libre was like 220, 230. And then once again, dropping, down to where we are right now. Looking at my report, 94% in target, and let's do that, 96% in target for 90 days. My glucose management indicator is 6.3 with an average blood sugar of 125. Let me go back to the Libre and let's do the same thing. Let's take a look at my glucose management indicator for the last 90 days and 5.7%. Okay. All right. So that's what's happening with blood sugars. So once again, if you are fasting with us, if you're ending your fast today, go ahead and put today. If you are fasting, if you fasted, even if you're fasted and you ended yesterday, day before, I want you to put me. Okay, put me in the comments. And hey, I see one of our community members out there, so let me go ahead and say hi. Let's go over. Let's do this one. And Jennifer said, "Hey, howdy all. What's going on, Jennifer? Hey, thank you for coming through. What's the weather like out there where you are, Jennifer, Nebraska? What's the weather like out where you are? We're getting a little warm here, so we're excited about that." And then I see Teresa. Teresa said, "Hey, doctor and Jennifer, what's going on, Teresa? Thank you for coming through. You're probably closer to our temperature, but might be a little different. So what's the weather like over there where you are, Teresa?" Glad when our folks come out. And I just did a shout out to our folks in Atlanta, Berean. So might be having similar weather to where you are. So awesome. All right. So let's go ahead, and I want to have a conversation. And yesterday we talked about. Let's see. Jeff is giving or asking. Let me go back over there. Hey Jeff, what's up? Hey Jeff, thanks for coming through. So Jeff says, "Did your CGM alarms go off when you went over 200, or did you have them silenced?" So I did not hear the CGM. Well, no, let me not say that. So I'm in the rooms, right? And so my CGM sometimes will go off in the room, and I silence them because I tell patients to silence their phones, and so it's I if I'm telling them that I do that as well, but because I'm sometimes on call on a particular day, I may have my phone turned on, so it was going off, and I took it out to hand it to my my assistant who was there, my scribe actually. And I just hit the button and it went off, and I hit it again, went off and hit it. And so it wasn't until I came out and I'm sitting down and I'm getting ready for the show that I was like, oh, let me look at it. And I'm looking through and I'm like, wait a minute. All right. So that's why it was going off. Because usually when it's going off, I'm thinking I'm low. Because that's usually the case, because I'm into the fast and I think I'm low. But yeah, so good question. Okay. Jennifer says, "Hi, Jeff." And G. Albert, what's up, G. Albert? What's going on, man? It's been a minute since we've seen you. Thank you for coming through. G. Albert said it is cold in Cleveland. Indeed. You guys, I don't know, this weather. I was in New York several weeks ago. We had that cold front that was coming through the country. And I'm in New York, and I'm usually, well, actually, I went from Costa Rica. I was hanging out with some friends. Went from Costa Rica, and instead of coming back to Huntsville, I went straight to New York. And of course, when we were going to Costa Rica, I didn't have clothes, cold weather clothes. So I come back and I go straight to New York, and I'm there at LaGuardia, and went out and I caught an Uber to go to my mom's house. And it was crazy cold, and it turned out, they said at the time, it was the coldest day that they've had in, I forgot since whatever year, but it was like 2 degrees. That was actually the temperature, but on the day that it was 2 degrees, it said it felt like it was like minus, I forgot, some ungodly number. So I don't know, G. Albert, I'm glad that you guys are. I'm glad that you guys are doing okay, and you love that weather. She said, "Cool in Cleveland." Let me go back over there because G. Albert's saying something else. Let me go over there. Down 115 since 2020. Down 115. Really? Wow. And Jennifer says, "Wow, awesome, and congratulations. That is a lot of hard work, man." G. Albert, and I don't have my streamers and my noise makers and all that stuff. Congratulations, man! Congratulations on that amazing process. Yeah, G. Albert, I remember we were in that process when we first met each other here online. So I am so excited for you. That is wonderful. I love the benefits and the goals that you've set and the achievements that you've made. Okay, and so here, guys, this is an example of someone, and just picking on you for a minute, G. Albert. As we take charge of our health, It is doable. It is doable. I know sometimes it sounds like, oh, that guy over there or that gal over there, they're on YouTube and they're doing the thing, but these are real people who are having benefits. Okay. Now I can't tell you all that G. Albert did, and the point that when you hear me say, when we talk here about the tools that we use, it's not the only way. It's not the only way to do things, but it can be done. And just so excited that here's an example of someone who did some amazing things and is down 115. I love that. Awesome. Okay. So let's see. So let's go over here, and I want to spend a moment and talk about. Yesterday we talked a little bit about the metabolic switch in fasting, and somebody sent me a message and they wanted to know a little bit more about fasting in general. And I'm going to spend a moment going through that. If you are interested in fasting, if you are, been around fasting, you want to start fasting, want to get more information, or even if you've been fasting and you want to make sure you're fasting safely, if you go over to dwainwoodemd.com/fasting, dwainwoodemd.com/fasting, there's a resource that we've provided there that you can download just to help you as you move through the process. Okay. So the question that I got was, why fasting? And it was actually a great place to have that conversation. And you heard me say a moment, I don't know all that G. Albert did in his weight management in order to be able to do that. There are lots of ways of doing things. I made this point in the room today. There are lots of ways of treating blood sugars, lots of ways of losing weight, lots of ways of improving blood pressure and cholesterol and all the other metabolic markers that we have. And so fasting, as we do here, is not the ultimate it's not the only, let me say it, it's not the only way to lose weight. The reason that we fast, and the reason that I propose fasting, is that fasting is able to combine several of the things that we say metabolic disease affects, and we're able to do that in a simple, low-cost, easily accessible way. Okay? So, when I'm fasting, I am doing several things. One, I'm decreasing calories in, which means I'm decreasing sugar, which means that my body has the opportunity to use the insulin that I'm making on board more effectively. So I'm improving my insulin resistance. I am burning fat, which means this beta oxidation that we talked about, the metabolic switch, which means that my weight is going down. I'm using up the glycogen that's in my liver, and I'm sending the body to the fat stores. So I am improving my liver process. And let's walk through some of these things. If I'm using less insulin, because my body is able to use the insulin more effectively, that means the total amount of insulin in my body is beginning to go down. That drop in insulin, right, which is not what most people think about, though insulin causes elevated blood pressure. So if I decrease my insulin, those vessels become less stiff, right? So you kind of see the domino effect. So the reason that we fast is so that we can hit all of those things without too much distress or too much change in what we do. Because fasting is easily accessible to most people. There are some people that we've talked about, pregnant women, people who've had some eating disorders, children, right? Those people, we make sure that you're touching base with your family doctor. Everybody should, but those are specific people that I say, hey, you make sure that you go and you talk to somebody to make sure that you're doing this in a healthy way. But most other people can fast, and most of us do some form of fasting anyway. Right? Remember, the first 6 hours after we eat is called the postprandial period, so not really considered in the fasting space. But if you go to bed at 6 o'clock in the evening, and I'm just picking a number, and you don't wake up until 6 o'clock the next morning, that's 12 hours. Make sense? Most of us don't eat breakfast. So we'll go till, 9 o'clock. So 12 hours plus another 3 hours, that's 15 hours that we've not eaten. And so most of us are on the way to begin fasting anyway. But because of the thought process, wait, I'm not going to eat, we've kind of escalated it as though it's a difficult thing. And for most of us, most of us do it on a weekly basis anyway. Okay? So that's the reason why we fast, because it is an amazing way to help us deal with our metabolism. And the type of fast that you do, all fasting gives you some benefit. Let me start there. All fasting will give you some benefit. And all fasting will give you some of the benefits that we've just described. But for a lot of people, we want, if we have some additional metabolic things that we want to do, then we target different types of fast. Like I do an extended fast, and I do that on a weekly basis because there are some metabolic things in me that I want to make sure that I'm taking care of. Okay, so that's the reason for fasting. But awesome. I love that. And so once again, if you're fasting, if you're interested in fasting, you want to know about fasting, DwainWoodeMD.com/fasting, sign up for that resource. And in addition to when you download that resource, you will get, I think it's 5 or 6 emails that come from me over the next, 21 days or so. And those are designed to kind of help you think about some things as you are implementing, or as you're considering getting into fasting, or as you are refreshing your ideas about fasting. An amazing resource that's there for you. If you want to instill in your routine, you want to be able to say, okay, I am doing these things for my health, and you want to be able to do that for yourself, get over to DwainWoodeMD.com/briefs. DwainWoodeMD.com/BRIEFS. And that's our weekly health nugget that comes out to you, comes directly to your email, something that you can implement on a weekly basis to help you think in a way that's structured so that you can have that health benefit. Okay? So make sure you do that. So I'm so excited that I get to hang out with you guys. On Saturday night, we'll have Video from the Vault at 9 p.m. Central. On Sunday morning, This Week in Review at 6 a.m. Central. And then on Monday, remember on Monday, we won't have our normal live show, but there will be something here in this space. Make sure you come on and participate in that. Our Foundations episode will come out next week again on Wednesday, just like it did this week. And then we'll be back live, not next Monday, but the Monday after that, for our Dwain Woode MD live as we move through the space. I'm so excited that I get to hang out with you guys and see all the benefits that you're getting in your lives. Just like G. Albert, I'm so proud of you, and so proud of all of those of you who are fasting. As I always say, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted. Creating that life. I want you to show up successfully for your life, just like you're doing for all the other areas, right? For your job, for everything else. I want to show up that way in your health as well, so that you can be with the people that are important for those occasions that you want to be participate in. You need superhuman strength? No. You need a structure, a strategy you can follow, a structure you can believe in, a plan you can follow, and you need the support to be able to show up consistently every single time. Thank you for being here. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. We'll see you guys in the digital space. Bye-bye, everybody.